Hello, great people. The Tinubu presidency and loyalists of the president have once again attacked presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 presidential election, Mr. Peter Obi. This time around, the attack was spearheaded by no other person than presidential aide Bayo Onanuga. It was about the exchange rate. But before I go into it, you will recall that in just few days ago, Peter Obi was attacked by the secretary of the ruling party APC, Felix Moka, over Peter Obi's statement during his New Year address, where he asserted that the presidency of Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not performing, that the president has spent a substantial amount of his time abroad when that is not supposed to be. Specifically, he said Bola Ahmed Tinubu has made over 30 foreign trips, and also he has spent 180 days out of his 580 days at then abroad. So Felix Moka attacked Peter Obi and says that Peter Obi should take whatever comes his way. And that led to some back and forth between Obi and Felix Moka and the presidency at that point in time. Now, there's another round of attack which is coming from Bayo Onanuga. Now, it's about the exchange rate. There are reports, according to Bloomberg, that the dollar to the Naira, that Naira is gaining value as regards the dollar. Then Bayo Onanuga celebrating the news. You will recall that in like a week, dollar have been selling between 1,700 and 1,600. That's range between 1,600 and 1,700. But there are reports that the dollar has crashed to 1,500 to the Naira. And Bayo Onanuga took to his ex handle, formerly Twitter, and you can see the screenshot on the screen right now. And he said that the Naira is holding its ground against the greenback and other currencies. This is good news, not bad news. I invite Mr. Peter Obi to retweet this accelerating news. Well, the obedience are not taking it lightly because they believe that why is it that you cannot run your government without bringing in Peter Obi at this point in time? So now we would analyze the issues surrounding this. Let us look at something which are very important. You see, most of the presidential media aides sometimes they act in an unpresidential manner, in the sense that if you're a spokesperson for the president, when you speak in your official capacity, it is assumed that it is the president that is speaking. You are the mouth of the president. Anything you say as regards governance or happenings in politics or polity in Nigeria, it is assumed as if Bola Ahmed Tinubu is speaking. And Bola Ahmed Tinubu, having graciously appointed you, believe that you have the capacity to speak in a presidential manner, to act in a presidential manner. So if the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu met the dollar at about 600 naira, and today it is selling for 1,006 to 1,700, you said it is 1,500, but that is not the case, of which I'm still coming to that. Even if dollar is selling for 1,200 naira, I believe that you can be proud of your achievement, but not bring the opposition into it, because the truth is that if the dollar exchanging at 1,500 to the naira is really nothing significant to celebrate. If you look at the kind of hardship in the land, if you look at how many businesses have collapsed, if you look at the unemployment ratio, the inflation ratio, now when all these things are go wrong, you don't celebrate. So the dollar just moved to 1,500 and you are celebrating. So for me, I think that is you majoring in the minor. So what if the dollar now crash to 1,000 naira? What will you now be doing? So I think the presidential aides should at least learn how to be presidential. And this is not having anything against anybody. I made a video yesterday and it was about Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, whereby he says he has some things that he can use to help the government, but he won't help the government because the government are not the government officials are proving that they are not his friends. And that video, if you watch it, it's like as if I'm speaking for Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So we don't hate anybody, we don't like anybody, but the truth must be said. When the people go wrong, we will say it, and when they go right, we will say it as regards the public officials in Nigeria. So the presidential aides should learn not to major in the minor. Now the thing is, as dollar really clashed to 1,007 to 1,500 in the true sense of it, the truth is that as of today, you cannot see dollar to buy at 1,500. So we'll look at the accessibility of the greenback to Nigerians, in the sense that if you hold 1,000 500 naira now, can you get a dollar? The answer is no, because if you check on Aboki FX, which I'll try to put it on the screen, as at the time that this recording was done, you see that dollar is exchanging for about 1,650 or thereabout. So the difference of 1,650 to 1,500, is it not significant? So where is the change when Nigeria cannot access the dollar for that 1,500? You cannot walk into a bank and decide that you want to buy dollar. I doubt if they will sell it to you, because there was a particular time during the administration of this Tinubu, and I walked into the bank that I need some greenback. They said they are not selling, and I said, okay, how do I get dollar for what I want to use it for? They said I have to source it elsewhere. That means I have to resort to the black market. So in this case, if Nigerians are to resort to the black market, the reality is, how much will they get the dollar? It is what you are seeing on the screen, which is over 1,600. So that's why I said the presidential aides should learn not to be bringing insult to their principal, because if you major in the minor and what you are saying has not, and that progress has not truly manifested in the life of the ordinary Nigerians, you will be embarrassing your principal. And the president should begin to look at these aides. Maybe they need a refresher course to be able to kind of like act presidential, speak presidential, move presidential, because sometimes the way they do doesn't speak to that effect. And if you look at it, Onanuga says the Naira stability is expected to last. Now, let us go into the analysis of that. Let's assume, but not concede, because that's not the reality. But let us assume the Naira is even 1,500. That if you hold it now, if you hold 1,500 Naira now, you can get a dollar. Now, the Onanuga assertion that this stability is expected to last, how real is this? Let us break it down. This assertion by Onanuga, he was quoting Bloomberg, but I can tell you that Bloomberg itself, is not correct, and I believe that it is the locator economist in Bloomberg that made that assertion and submitted it to their master, and their master just kind of like read it out. I believe that could have been the case, because the argument that Bloomberg plays is against the precedents, the historical economic evolution of Nigeria and the reality of the Nigerian political economy, in the sense that if you look at it, even if the dollar is exchanging for 1,500, if you look at it, every December the Naira usually gain against the dollar, because there's high inflow of foreign remittances, in the sense that Nigeria likes to return into the country during the July time. They like to come home to enjoy themselves and to start developmental projects. During this time, you will see that there will be massive inflow of dollar into the country. And if you look at elementary economics, the force of demand and supply, which is that if there's if there is, the higher the demand, the lower the supply. And when there is high demand, there will be increase in price. And when there is much supply, there will be decrease in price. So if you look at this elementary economics, it is expected that when there is much foreign inflow of the dollar into the country, it is expected that there will be a slight gain on the part of the Naira against the dollar. So for anybody to celebrate this, then you know that the person doesn't really have much idea about how the Nigerian economy has always evolved, the periodic changes in the Nigerian economy as regards the foreign exchange, especially during the Juletide period. So somebody should tell Bloomberg that Nigeria, what we usually experience is what we have experienced again during the Juletide period. And we need to look at something again beyond the Juletide. Will Naira be appreciable against the dollar? Does Naira have that prospect? Let us look at it from another perspective. In the sense that for the Naira to appreciate against the dollar, Nigeria must be producing. You must be earning. That production, that earning is your own strength. The question is, what is Nigeria producing? What is Nigeria using to earn the dollar? Well, you may want to say crude oil, but the truth is, have you forgotten that the Buhari administration allegedly used some of our crude oil exportation as collateral for loan during the administration? When Buhari was there, he allegedly used the oil for loan, and Nigeria is not even earning more on oil as it used to be. So if you look at it, that how much dollar do Nigerians need based on our level of consumption, based on what we use dollar to do every day, our daily transaction, our taste for medical tourism, our taste for educational tourism, our taste for foreign luxury goods. If you look at the amount of dollar that Nigeria needs and the amount of dollar that Nigeria earns, you see that the disparity is, wide apart. So for Naira to gain, we need to bridge that gap by producing something that those people that has the dollar, that foreign countries will need, then they will begin to bring dollar into Nigeria for the purchase of those goods and services. Except that occur, which is not occurring at this point in time, the dollar will continue to have gain against the naira, especially if we continue to borrow every now and then as we are borrowing. So all these elementary economics, all these little economics that you would expect that the people in high places should know. And when there's a fall in naira like this, they should try to kind of like, just rejoice within the corner of their bedroom, because they know that it is not something that can stand the test of time. But they will come out and start rejoicing. And some of these things that they do, they don't know that they are even embarrassing their principal. So they should try and be presidential in the true sense of it, because some of these things they do, unfortunately, they just bring monumental embarrassment to their principal. Because, like I said earlier, how much did your principal met the dollar? How much did your principal met the price of goods and services? How much is it today? So if you meet something at less than 600 naira, and today, assuming but not considering that it is exchanging for 1,500, and you are rejoicing, what kind of rejoice is that? Nigerians will rejoice today if the Tinubu government can take Nigeria back to where the government met it on May 29, 2023. People will be happy. Sometimes, sometimes it's not like we like to say these things. But then I hold myself a conscience to be very impartial and to speak the truth, not minding who sucks his God. Because yesterday, I spoke in favor of Tinubu as against Sanusi Lamido Sanusi. And here I am today, nullifying some of the assertions of Bayo Onanuga. And that's why I said I'm the political scientist that you cannot like me, you cannot hate me. If you're a supporter of the president, if you watch my video, as regards Sanusi Lamido, his statement, you will like me. If you are watching this one, you may not like me. You may watch another one tomorrow and you will like me. But the truth is, always stand on the path of truth. So the presidential aides should try and be presidential, and they should try and take Nigeria back to where Nigeria was. They shouldn't even, it will be good. They shouldn't do anything. Just take Nigeria back. Let petrol be 500 and something. Let the price of goods and services go back to where it was as at May 29, 2023, and Nigerians would be happy and they would, of course, rejoice. So for me, that is what the focus on the government should be, and the presidential aides should stop majoring in the minor. I wish President Bola Ahmed Tinubu success, because you cannot pray for the downfall of your president. If your president fall, you too will follow. If your president fail, you too will fail, directly or indirectly. So may God grant him the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to lead Nigeria to the promised land. I wish him the best of luck, and may God give him the strength. May God open his eyes to be able to put people around him that won't mislead him, that will tell him the truth, and that will be able to navigate the ship of the Nigerian state for where it is to where it ought to be, according to its potentials and prospects. It's been an interesting time with you on this episode of Politing with Dr. Omoshola Deji. Dr. Deji is a political scientist with a PhD in political science. Do well to subscribe, turn on your notification button. See you in my next video. I love you all sincerely.